Hello everyone, this is Satyaprakash. Welcome to my channel. In this video, I'll show you how to perform CRUD operation in Angular using Web API. So CRUD is nothing but create, read, update and delete using Web API in Angular. So guys, in this video, we'll discuss few points, that is how to create a ASP.NET Web API application for CRUD operation, create Angular with routing, call Web API in Angular to perform CRUD operation, and implement Bootstrap in Angular for responsive web design. So guys, before going through this video, please visit my web Angular CLI tutorial, where you will get some idea how to create a Angular application from scratch, what is component services, how to generate it, and how to create a sample Angular application from scratch. And here this Angular CLI tutorial, it is my playlist, so you'll get these videos. And second one is how to create a ASP.NET Web API applications. Okay, so here you'll get some ideas about how to create a sample Web API application as well. So guys, to know about the basics about Web API tutorial and what is Web API, how to create a Web API, and what are the get, put, post and delete operations, how to perform a sample Web API application, and how to consume, you will get these basic videos in my playlist called ASP.NET Web API tutorial. So let's go to my presentation here. So these are the steps we need to follow to create a perform a CRUD operation in Angular using Web API. So I have created some notes here. Okay, that is first of all we need to create a table called student. So guys, here this is the table name called student, and it has some columns: ID, name, email, phone, gender, course, send, updates. It is a bit column type, and street, city, state and blood group. So this is the script for student table. So as per my steps, step 1 is create a new table, that is student, which I already have discussed. Okay, so and this table I have few atomic column values. Okay, so I'll show you that as well. So I'll create a new query window and select star from student and execute. So these are the sample values which already have inserted into this table as well. Okay, 3 values. So ID is the primary column, and identity which will be auto generated IDs, and these are the values which will be inserted by the user earlier. So this is the thing about the student table. So okay, I'll remove this one, step 1. Step 2 is in Web API we need to create 2 classes under models folder, that is one student class and another one is address class. So I'll go to my Web API project. Okay, so guys, here if you go to the solution explorer and expand my models folder. Okay, so this models folder have 2 classes, one is student class, another one is address class. So I'll open this student class. So guys, here in student class I have the same column names what I have created while I create the table. Okay, so these are the ID, name, email, phone, gender, course, send, updates and blood group as the same type also. And this is the address class. Okay, and which are the address object as well. So this address class is nothing but a class which I have created as well, which contains some few parameters or column names. So this is another class file, address class. So if you open this address class, you'll get that it contains some column values, street, city and state. So if you compare these 2 classes column values or variables, you'll compare with your table, you'll get the same column names and its type as well. Okay, so that's all about the step 2. So let's discuss about the step 3. So in Web API we need to create a controller for get, post, put and delete operation, and this control name is student controller. So I'll go to my web API. I need to close this address class and student class as well. Okay, so this is the controller called student controller. Okay, so here I have added some codes, and I'll describe this codes as well. So these are the namespaces which required to create your web API applications. So these are the route prefix API/student. So whenever you call your endpoint or consume the web API, instead of assigning to the whole controller name and the method names, instead we need to pass a API/student name using the route prefix. Okay, so this route prefix, it applies to all actions with the controller. Okay, so this is applicable to all the action methods as well. So here this controller have derived from API controller. It is a base class. Okay, and for connection strings, here I have used, that is the connection string value. Okay, so here also web.config, but here I have not configured my connection string, so I make it is a simple, so I'll put in same course. Okay, so here in web.config I have not mentioned the connection string. Okay, so instead that I have used the same connection string in the code using SQL connection class. So this is the connection string, which is the data source, this server name, and this is the my DB name, and this is integrated security equal to true. Okay, so here for HTTP GET, so I need to collapse all the things. Okay, so here HTTP GET, it will return all the employee details. Okay, so this route value is all student details. So inside the JSON type, it will return some list of students. Okay, so here these are the student list which will be assigned to the student list object, and it will create the connection, and this connection text has the table name select from student, so it will return all the student details. So using while loop, we'll read the data reader, and it will be added all the column values to the student list. Okay, that is nothing but all the column names: ID, name, email, phone number, gender, course, send updates, blood group, and address. It has 3 columns. Okay, so these are all assigned to the student list. It will be added to the student list object, and it will return the JSON with a list of models, and it will be assigned to the student list object as well. So this action method returns all the students in your table. Okay, so this is the code. So I'll collapse this one, expand the next one. So this get student, also it is a get request, and it has a route is get student, but it will be filter the records based on ID value. Okay, so you just noticed in command text I have used the select statement with the ID value. So if the ID 1, then it will return the student whose ID is 1. Okay, and it will be condition, I have put if condition. So if the data reader object is the has rows, means some will return some values, so ID is exits, so it will return the same student details based on the IDs. So the data reader would read all the records, and student list will return to the student object or variable, right, stud. So based on the ID, it will return the result: ID, name, email, phone number, gender, course, blood group, send updates, and address. Okay, so this is all about the code for get student, and based on ID it will filter the records in student table. Okay, and it finally it will return the JSON result and assign whatever the stored value is stored. Okay, it will return the JSON result. If it is not there, if the condition is not satisfied, then it will return the null values. So this is all about the second get request based on the ID. Next one is add student. So it will be create the new student. So I have used the HTTP post attribute. Okay, so here is the route is add student. So here the insert student bool type, which I have a parameter passed as the model student class student. So here the connection is open, and in the command I have mention the insert statement, right? Insert into student, and these are the column values: name, email, phone, gender, course, send updates, blood group, street, city, and state. And the id is a primary column, and it is a identity column, so no need to manually insert this data. So based on that value, we just get this parameter value based on the students, right? Because this name column name is present in the student class. So same way, student.name, student.email, student.phone, student.gender, student.course, and the send updates, I need to converts the boolean value into equivalent 16-bit signed integer. So I mentioned as the student.send to updates, send updates column, and the blood group, and this is the address dot street, and this is the address dot city, and this is address dot state, and the connection object is closed as well. Okay, so this is the insert statement we need to put here for insert the new records. So these are the and the return status. Okay, so there's the boolean status value equal to 1 if it's true, otherwise it will be false. So this is the code for HTTP post for new insert the records. Okay, so this is the code. Okay, now I will collapse this one, go to the next one for put, that means the update record. So this is the HTTP put attribute I have used, and the route as a edit student. Okay, so here the type is bool, and the update statement is the action method, which I path parameter as the student class. So here based on ID we need to update the records. So here in the SQL command I use the update statement, update student set name equal to student.name, email, phone number, gender, course, send updates, blood group, street, city, state, and where ID equal to student.id. So based on ID it will be update the records. Okay, so it will close the connection, and boolean status equal to 1 true, otherwise it will false, and return status. So this is code for update the record. So need to collapse this one, go to extend the new one. So for last one is HTTP delete, to delete the record. So HTTP delete attribute I have used here, and the route as delete student, and the delete student as a boolean type, and pass the integer ID. Okay, and here command has a delete from student, where ID equal to pass ID value. So based on ID it will delete the particular student record. So same way for status as equal, if it is 1 it's true, otherwise it will false, and return status. So this is code for delete operation. Okay, so here I'll expand all the things so that it will be identify for the code in detail for end to end. Okay, so here these are the namespace, and this is the route prefix, this is the connection string, and this is the route for applicable all the action method and controller inside this controller class. Okay, and these are the HTTP get request, and this is the HTTP get request, this is the HTTP get request for all the student details. Okay, and this is the HTTP get request, based on ID it will filter the records, and this is HTTP post for insert the new record. Okay, and this is HTTP put for update the existing record, and this is HTTP delete to delete the record based on ID value. Okay, so this is all about the code for web API. So if you'll go to my note, so this is all about the code for web API. Okay, so after this I need to run my web API and also one response, so that will check whether my web API is running or not. So I need to execute this IIS Express. So guys, here this is my localhost web API localhost URL with port number, and this API / student, it is nothing but the route prefix. Okay, that is applicable to all the action methods to my student controller, and this is all students details, nothing but for HTTP GET request, that is route, right? It will return all the student list, so that I'm getting all the student in JSON format, student details. So this is returning 3 student IDs 1 5 6. So same thing we can track in my SQL, right? This one, so same thing it will return by the web API. So that means my web API is running as expected. So let's go to my notes. So this is step 3 which I discussed. Okay, so let's check about the step 4, about the Angular, where I create the model creation, right? So here, guys, in Angular we need to create a model creation, that is address class.ts and student class.ts, as same as the web API. So here I'll go to my VS Code. Okay, so guys, here this is my Angular application, where in this application, Angular application, I will call web API URL and we can perform a CRUD operation. So you remember, whatever the services, components and classes will create, so it will be available inside the src folder as per the rule. So here, if you'll expand the app, okay, and here as per the step, it will need to create the address class.ts. okay, so here you'll notice that address class.ts, right? So in address class.ts, inside the constructor, the street, city and state, it has the type as a string. So in this way, in Angular we need to create a address class. Okay, so also we need to create one more class, it is called student class. So student class, it will be import the address class, okay, from address, that is nothing but this one. And if you open again, so it will be used as the export class, address class. So we need to import here inside the student class, so we need to use as the import, right? And the address class, this is the path, and here the student class as the export class. Inside the constructor will be put the parameters or variables as well. So it will same as the same column names or parameters should be same as the web API return the value, right? So this is all about the student class and address class.ts. ts is nothing but the TypeScript in Angular. Okay, now the step 4 is completed. So go to the step 5. So guys, here in step 5, generate component home. So to generate a component home, we need to execute this command ng-gc home in your terminal. Okay, so I already have discussed how to create a component in my playlist. We will go through that and you will get some ideas how to create the component. So this is the command ng-gc home. Once you execute the command successfully, it will create the auto generated files. So I'll go to my home, it will create one home, and inside these are the 4 files will be created: home.component.css, home.component.html, home.component.spec.ts, home.component.ts. okay, so as for the step 5, I'll open my home.component.html. So home.component.html, it will sample HTML1. This is the home page, and it will be with a message, welcome to user management system. So this is the code, and div class has a background CSS class. Okay, and as per the step 5, we need to mention as a home.component.css. so if you open the home.component.css, it has the background with the white color, right? So that it will be applicable to the home.component.html background CSS class. So this is about the step 5. So I'll remove this step 5. So step 6. So in step 6, we need to generate one more component called not found. That means if the user will request one invalid component or page, it will be written as the no page is found. So that we'll create a no found page component, that is ng-gc not found. So once you execute this command and it will be successful, you'll get one not found. Okay, so this is the same folder structure and files as a home. And as per my step 6, I'll open not found.component.html. So if you open this not hyphen found.component.html, it has some div class, background color, content hyphen fluid, and h2 tag, which will be page not found, and it has some dark color about the p tag, it will be written as a message, the page you are looking is not available. So this is about the code for HTML. And the same we need to set up as the CSS of corresponding HTML. So if we'll go here, not hyphen found dot component dot css, so same as background color I have set as white. Okay, so this is the code for, this is the step for not found generate component. So step 7 is we need to create one more component, add student, to add a new record for student or insert the new record for student. So here the command is ng-gc add student, and here I'll go to my add student, and it's the same structure. Okay, so as per my step 7, we need to open add hyphen student dot component dot html. So this is add hyphen student dot component dot html. Okay, and okay, now well, yeah, so here you guys, this is the HTML, new user registration, and it is a background color I have set as white. Okay, div class, and this is the enter the below field for user details, and this is the form tag, which will be student form as ng form, ng submit, and this is submit details. It will be call on the button click, and the student form value will be assigned. And this is the div form with the row it has the Bootstrap classes to make the responsive design, same as for form group. And this is the label for text box with the name text box, and the input type is text, ng model. So here it is the about the name text box. Okay, so it is done about the name text box, and the same similar to name text box, there is one more text box is email for email field. Okay, so this is about the email field, and there is one more field is called phone. Okay, so there is phone number text box, so this is the phone number, and this the input type is phone, and these are the class, and ng model set as student model dot phone and name as phone. Okay, so this is the phone for phone text box or input text box. So these are the valid messages if the values and this field is required, and it should be the 10-digit number. And there is one more field is gender. Okay, so this is the text box, and here I have used the div rows, and this class is Bootstrap class, and this is the gender label, and the input type is the gender for text box. And there is one more field is blood group. This is the drop down, so this is the label as blood group, and the select it is though it is a drop down control, so I have used a select tag and ng model as a blood group, and value select, and if you drag to right, it will be corresponding property values, and the ng model set as the student model blood group and name as blood group. And this is the select blood group drop down, index as 0, and this ng for let group of group, so it will be a for loop, and the group is inside the group as it will be retrieve the group of details, that is the blood group options. Okay, and these are the validation messages. Please select the blood group. And next one is for course. So course is nothing but it is a type of radio button, so these are the radio button for course. Okay, so BCA, BTech, BE and BSc. And this is for text box, address field. So these are the address field for inside the address ng model group. These are three types, right? Street, city, and states. So this is about the street, this is city, and this is state. These are all about the text boxes. Last one is checkbox. So checkbox is nothing but it is the send me updates, right? So it is a boolean value, or so checkbox I have set. So ng model send updates, name as send me updates. And this is the hidden field I have used, that is a student model.id, because this hidden field is required whenever we'll create a update the existing student ID value. So it is required as a hidden field. And this is the button control, so it is submit button, and this is the form tag closed and div tag closed. So I'll repeat again that thing. So this is the add-student.component.html. so I'll just drag to right, so you can capture this whole code as well. So this is about the text box name, text email address text box. This is about the phone, so phone for I'll drag to right, and this is for gender, this is for blood group. So blood group drop down, it has I need to drag to right, so blood group. And this is for course, and for address it contains the three divs, that is street, city, and state. And these are this is the checkbox for send me updates, and this is the hidden field ID value, and this is the submit button, and form tag closed and div tag closed. So as for the step 7, I need to discuss about add-student.component.css. okay, so I'll close this one, and add-student.component.css. so I'll here only sample the background CSS class, background set as white. So this is all about the add-student component. So guys, here step number 8 I need to discuss. So I'll open add-student.component.ts. okay, so here the same as add-student.component.ts. for some functionality we need to add here. okay, so here import the component, and this is the package we need to use here, right? So this is the address class, and this is the service which we'll discuss in the next point. This is the address we need to path here, enrollment service, where this service class will contains the your web API URL URL address. So this is the student class, you need to path, you need to mention here. This is the Angular router. So these are the import, we need to import these packages. And this component, this is the selector, template URL, and style URL, that is the HTML and CSS. And the export class add student, implement the on in it. And here you remember this groups, right? This is nothing but is about the blood group. okay, so these groups we have used in my this add-student.component.html. remember this this blood group, right? So it will be a for loop I have used with the double curly braces with the group, so that it will retrieve this value from here, add-student.component.ts. okay, and here the address model, which contains the address class student model. It will be also as a new instantiate the student class with this value. And this the constructor, we need to pass the enrollment service class, which we'll discuss in next point. So this it is just by console log for constructor calling will in your inspect element section, right? So here the submit details method, which I have called in my HTML page, and this is the student ID equal to 0. Then it will be create the new add student and student data. okay, and it will be once the student details will be inserted successfully, it will route to the navigate to the student list component. So I will discuss this student list component in the next part. okay, so here if it is some error is thrown, then it will console log error. okay, so in else part it will be edit student. Edit is if it is ID is completely 0, or it is a new records, it will be create the new records up to this. If it is existing record, then it will be update the records, right? So so that it will be created as the edit student. So here it is, once the data is updated based on id value, so it will return to, it will be route to the, navigate to the student list component. So if there is an error, so it will be this parameter is log this error as well. Okay, and the ng on init, there's some console log where and this id variable contains some snapshot of parameter map, right, property and id value. And this enrollment service, it will be returns the get student of id and is subscribed to the data and the student model equal to data. So this is all about the code for add-student.component.ts. so I'll discuss again these steps. These are the packages and this is the component. In the section we need to add the path, and on init we just mention on few block group details, and in submit details which contains the two methods add student and edit student for create the new records and update the existing record. And ng on init, it will be written the ng on init method, and enrollment service, it contains the id value. So this is the code for add-student.component.ts. okay, so go to my notes, I'll remove this one, step 8. So step 9 is we generate a component student details, and here the student details component same as add-student details. Okay, so as per my step 9, we need to go to student-details.component.html. so this is the HTML. okay, so this HTML student hyphen, it will be this component is display only the list of records. So these are the background color, this is the student selected user details, and the student name, it will display student name, and in this table, in the table row, it will contain all the column header, id, email address, phone, gender, blood group, course, street, city, state, and the table body with the tr and td, it will contain the respective column values, id, email, phone number, gender, blood group, course, address dot street, address dot city, and address dot state. After then there is one back to button, so that will be go to the student list component. okay, so this is the code for student-details.component.html. so as per my steps as 9, I'll go check also open student-details.component.css for css class set. so I'll close this one, go to here student-details.component.css. so here I have set it as the background color css class property as a color as white. so here I'll remove this step 9. so step 10 is I'll discuss this student-details.component.ts. so this one student-details.component.ts. okay, so I'll discuss these points, discuss this code as well. so same here, we need to create the import some statements for on init, router, student class, and enrolled service class. so component section, it will be section as we need to mention here some path to HTML and CSS. The selector is nothing but the app-student-details, and the students have a class student details component, it implement the on init interface. okay, the student model set as the student class, and the constructor, this is the service, enrollment service, this is the route, and this is the router. so ng on init, it will be get student of id, and the go to student details method, it will be navigate to the student list, and show fees, it is not required, and show address also, it is not required as well. so as per these are just a dummy code I have mentioned, but as per the this CRUD operation requirement, this go to student list code is required to, it will navigate to the student list as per the link back button, right? so this one I have mentioned here, go to student list. so this is the code for student-details.component.ts. So this is the import statement, component section. These are the export class, and this is the code for ng on init, and the go to student list method, which I have called in my HTML for back button. And these are just with sample test methods. Okay, so this is all about the code for TS file. So I'll remove this step 10. So step 11, we need to generate one more component, student list. So here I'll go to my structure, so student list component here. Okay, so here student list component, as per my steps 11, I need to open the student-list.component.html. so student-list.component.html here. Okay, and here you just noticed one more thing, guys. So here the I'll discuss this code as well. So this is the div class background color, user details. This is the table which contains the ID, name, phone, and action. So this is nothing but it will contain the few parts of your student, and in the action header it will be show some links like view, edit, and delete links, so that the user will click on a respective link and it will perform some operations for edit the existing records or delete the existing to the student records as well. Okay, so in the T body, so in the table row, so there is some for loop *ng for let's start of students index as I. So it will be written as ID, name, and student. So it will be respective ID, name, phone header. It displays the ID, name, and phone, and in the action header it will be shown as the delete, edit, and view. So inside the delete it will be delete student called, and for edit student called, and for student details, for view it is student details method is called here. Okay, so this is a code for student-list.component.html. so this is the table for table row head and with header, and this is for loop for collecting the student ID, name, and phone using the for loop, and it will be displayed with the link for delete, edit, and view the records. So this is the code for student-list.component.html. so as per step 11, we need to see as open student-list.component.css. so here I'll close this one, go to here and student-list.component.css. so this is the background color I have set to make some background color in your HTML file. Okay, so yeah, so this is the step for 11. So step 12 is student-list.component.ts. we need to discuss some functionality of this HTML. so go to my this structure, the student-list.component.ts. okay, so these are the code I'll discuss. Okay, so these are the import section we need to use for enrollment service, Angular router, and on init component. So this component, it will be path, template URL, style URL, and selector we need to mention here. And the export class is student list component, implement the on init interface. The public student type is any, and the constructor, this get all student, it will returns all the students, right? And there is one more method, right? Public delete student. For delete link we have called the delete student, right? so here the delete student is implemented based on ID value and index number. It will be delete the existing student class, student details. Same way for edit student, based on ID it will be return the, it will be edit the or update the student records. so ID parameter with any, and once the edit operation successful or update the record successful, it will navigate to the R student and student ID. okay, so based on click on edit student link button, it will go to the art student component HTML, and based on ID it will be load all the student details on the respective input values. And the student details, that's nothing but the view. Based on ID it will be navigate to the student details component, and this is the ng on init. okay, so this is the code for student-list.component.ts. so I'll discuss again. so these are the import statement, this is the component section, these are the export class which implement the on init, this is the students type, and there is first method is to get all students, second method is delete student to delete the existing ID value record, this is for update the record, and this is for student details for view link, and this is for ng on init, and it will call as a get all student action method. This is the code for student-list.component.ts. So step 12 is removed. I'll discuss about the step 13, that is implement routing. So I'll close this one, go to my Explorer. As per the step 13, we need to create a routing file, app-routing.module.ts. So here this file is app-routing.module.ts. okay. So guys, here this import statement is required, that is for ng module, routes module, student details component, ng found component, student list component, art student component, and home component. So these are the component we need to I have created. So that means this all the components we need to mention here as an import statement. So same way for import statements, this is the class, right? So we need to same way we need to put in the routes array. So here for home, this is the component, for student art student and art student id, for update that is for student list and the student list redirect path, and this is the student list component and student details component, and if the page is not found, then this path is shown as not found, right? This path star, and this ng module section export imports we need to mention here, and this is the export class for app routing module. So guys, again I will repeat for app-routing.module.ts. so whatever the components we have created, we need to import here, and this component path we need value we need to put inside the routes array, right, for this section. And this is the ng module. So if we put over mouse, you'll get the decorator, what the decorator is used, what is this, so all the details we will get after put over the mouse on this. And the export class is app-routing module. So this is the code for app-routing.module.ts. So this is the step 13. I'll remove, it is completed. So step 14, so generate service, enrollment service. So to generate a service, this is the command ng generate service, this is the service name. So once you create the service guys, so I'll go to my Explorer, okay. So here it will create two files, enrollments service.service.ts, enrollment service.service.spec.ts. so most of the code will be covered in this service.ts file. So this is nothing but it will be use the service file to consume the our web API URL, okay. So this is the thing is we need to import this statement, injectable, HTTP client, observable, RxJS, and student class. So this is the import statement we need to use to call your web API, and we can implement the web API features in our Angular project. So this injectable provided in will make as a root, right, export class enrollment service. This is the URL, right. So guys, this URL contains this my remember this is the URL nothing but for my web API. So if you go to my web API URL, you notice this is the web API, right, up to this https localhost 44302 API and student. This is the route prefix, so that this up to this URL I have consumed as the URL in my service class, this enrollment service. That means we already have consumed my web API URL. So in constructor I have used the HTTP client. So here you notice guys, for each action method in web API, right, so here I have created the method for art student. So this is the art student route, and for edit student, this is the edit student route. This is for delete student method, the delete student route. And for get all students, this is the route for all student details web API. And for get student with the ID, get student ID, right. So if you'll match this action methods, it will be available in my web API. All student details, get student, and the art student for create new student, edit student for update the existing student value, for delete student route. So same thing we need to mention in our methods in web API, in Angular service file. Okay, I'll discuss these points again. So you need to import these packages for consume the web API and call the web API. So this is the injectable section, and the export class enrollment service. It has a URL property which keeps the web API URL, and the constructor, the HTTP client, it has a add student method, edit student, delete student, get all student, and get student. So get add student, it will contains the add student endpoint. Edit student, it contains the web API endpoint edit student. Delete student method, it contains the delete student web API endpoint with ID value. Get all students method, it contains the all student details web API endpoint. And get student of ID value, it contains the get student web API endpoint with the ID parameter. So this is the code for enrollments-service.service.ts. Okay. So step 14 is completed. Go to my step 15, app.component.html and app.component.css. So it is the root of my web UI. Okay, so if you'll go to app.component.html, yeah, so here you have noticed, guys, this is the navbar bootstrap class I have used. Okay, and it will be just be an anchor tag, user record management, and this is the router link I have used. For home router link, it will be go to the home, and for add new user, it will be go to the add student component, and for user list, click on, it will go to the student list component. So that router link I have used here is the anchor tag. And the deep style, it will count the router outlet, and the deep tag is closed. So this is for code app.component.html. I'll repeat again. This is the navbar I have used to for route or navigate the corresponding component. So these are the four links. One is user record management, one is home component, add new user component, and user list component. So it is nothing but the anchor elements or links which have some router link. It will be by click on the corresponding link, it will be navigate to the corresponding components: home component, add student component, and student list component. So this is code for app.component.html. So as per step 15, I'll discuss also about the app.component.css. So app.component.css, so this is the text color white set as the this color value, okay, which I'll be calling inside the app.component.html. Okay, so it is the step 15. So here is the app.component.ts as per the other component. So this app component also have app.component.ts file. So this is nothing here much here, just be a import package, and it has some same as the component section. I have hyphen root and the template URL, style URL, and the app component class, export class as a title, CRUD operation and records. Okay, so this is the code for app.component.ts. So we'll discuss this step 16, that is the dependencies, how to add the dependencies in app.module.ts file. So guys, here app.module.ts file. Okay, so guys, here you notice that we need to add some dependencies, right? So whatever the components, services, HTTP client model, so all these packages we will use as the import statement. Okay, similar for browser module, ng module, forms module, app component, student details component, app routing module, not found component, student list component, add student component, enrollment services, HTTP client module, and HTTP and home component. So we need to use in the import as a path. So there is two arrays, one declaration array, one is imports array. So declaration array contains some components which you have used: app component, student details component, not found component, student list component, add student component, and home component. And same for imports array. It contains the browser module, forms module, app routing module, and HTTP client module. And this providers array, it contains the HTTP client module and enrollment services which you have used. And the bootstrap, it contains the app component. That's nothing but app.component.html. And this is the export class as app module. So again I'll repeat. So this app.module.ts will be add some dependencies, whatever the components and the system generated components we need to add here. So these are the 4 arrays inside the ng module decorator. One is declaration array where you have used some components, and the import section, it has some browser module, forms module, HTTP client module, and a app routing module. And the providers, nothing but where the services, enrollment service I have used, and HTTP client module, and bootstrap UI design I have used as a app component. And this is the export class app module. So guys, this is the code for app.module.ts file. So this is all about the steps for Angular with Web API. So next is we'll discuss about the how the output is showing. So guys, here I'll go to my VS Code, close this. Okay, click on this terminal, new terminal. And make sure your web API is running properly and I'm getting the response as well. And here it is my Angular application path where I'll put some command ng serve. So here guys, my Angular application is compiled successfully and I'm getting this URL. So before that, before loading this URL, I'll discuss two things. One is index.html. Okay, so this index.html is nothing but as a master page. Okay, so here you'll see as it will be display the title Angular CRUD with Web API, and it has some style sheet which I have mentioned the path as bootstrap minified version of CSS, which I added the bootstrap minified file of in my root of this file, that is bootstrap.minified.css. okay, and this is the code app-root opening and closing tag, and this is the code for index.html. And second thing is whatever the path we have mentioned, so this file should be present, that is bootstrap minified file CSS version, that is bootstrap.min.css. okay, let's go to my URL, http localhost 4200, and go to my browser and load this page. So guys, this is my Angular application, which the page you are loading, what the UI is loading, it is my Angular application UI page. So this is the student list, okay, and I'm getting all the records, that is whatever my web API is running, okay, and whatever my SQL server contains, the same records I'm seeing in my Angular application. And I'll check one by one. First of all, I'll check this user student management. Okay, this is nothing but contains the student -list component. So details, it will show the ID, name, phone number with action, delete, edit, and view. Okay, and this home component, it contains the sample home page. Add new user, it contains the for creating the new employee new user records. And the user list, it contains the student list, right? So first of all, I'll create a new user or student. So here I'll type okay, coding knowledge, and here the mail is -mail.com. okay, gender male, blood group and BTech, and Bengaluru, and state. Okay, and the send me details, you can select a checkbox or not as per your requirement. So click on submit. So here guys, my employee my details is successfully inserted, right? So if I'll go to my table and execute this, I'm getting new record, right? This coding knowledge, and also in web API I'm getting the same response as well. So see here, so this is the knowledge. Oh yeah, this is ID 7. So I'm getting this response as well, right? So let's we need to view this record. So if I'll click on this view, I'm getting to the student details component, and it will be written as ID, name, and what are the mail I'm getting here, right? So this is the student details for coding knowledge name, and this is the ID, email address, phone number, gender, blood group, course, student, and city and state. If you click on back button, it will go to the student list component. Let's edit this view, edit this record. So click on edit. So it will be loading the corresponding input values. So I'll select here coding knowledge 1, CK1, it is 1. I'll update same thing, mail. I'll select to O plus, BCA, Bengaluru 1, BNG 1, Karnataka 1, and click on submit. So see here guys, my record also updated successfully. If we'll click on view, so I'm getting the successfully updated, that is each value I have put as 1, right? So it is updated the record successfully. So if I'll check my SQL server, so see here I'm getting this records updated successfully here. Also in web API, if you'll refresh it, so I'm getting as this updated records here, right? So here what I'll do is we'll need to delete the record, right? So here 4 records it's showing. If I'll delete this record, click on delete, it see here, we'll refresh it, I'm getting 3 records, right? This coding knowledge record is deleted. So if we'll go to my SQL server, execute, so this coding knowledge row is deleted. So if we'll go to here web API response, refresh it, so see here this coding knowledge JSON record is also removed as well. Okay, so here guys okay, now I discuss all these points. So home is for home page, add new user for inserting the new records, user list. So if you click on edit, it will go to the R student -1, it is the ID value. Okay, so ID 1, I have corresponding input values is loading for text box and whatever the drop down, radio button, text boxes, checkbox. Okay, so we can update the records based on the ID value. So user list, so click on view, it will display as the some kind of view only for view the records, and the back button it will go to the student list, and click on user record management, it will be just be a student list, student-list component. Okay, so same as for some ID, name, phone, and delete, edit, and view. Click on view, I'm getting some details as well. So we'll check for invalid node not found, right? So for example, we have no component as about. Okay, so here I'm getting as page not found, and the page you are looking not available. Okay, so guys, here I have used the Bootstrap, so I'll show the Bootstrap. So go to inspect element, iPhone XR, iPhone SE. So it is the home, add new user. Okay, so see here my page is responsive, so that as per the page is width and length, it will be adjusted. So user list, click on view, so I'm getting as the view back to bottom. Okay, click on edit, so this edit all the records is loading the corresponding text box, radio button, input fields. Okay, and go to user record management. So I'm getting the records as well. Okay, so if there is no such page found, then we'll check for about. So see here, page not found. So I'll discuss one more thing is inspect element, responsive console, user list, network. So see here guys, you just noticed one thing, all student details. So when I click on user list, so that my web API with endpoint is returning, right? So see here, localhost API student, all student details. Okay, so if I click on view, I'm getting one more endpoint, get student with ID equal to 1. Okay, now click on back button, again endpoint is called, that is all student details. And if you click on edit, I'm getting the get student of ID because the values are loading to the corresponding input fields based on the get student ID. So this endpoint is called, so that we can check the web API endpoints in the network section here. Okay, so guys, that's all about the how to create an Angular application and web API application, and how to call a web API and consume its endpoints in Angular for CRUD operation. So this is the real-time example for CRUD operation in Angular using web API. So all the steps I have covered here and in output also. So I'll go to my presentation. So guys, that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.